French.
Pound it. Woo!
Whoa.
Oh, what a cool
Wow.
intro. We are S3K. Welcome to episode 8. I am Evan Gao, and I'm joined by...
Neg. And nobody else. Hey.
no one else. And
one else
together,
You're psychic.
me and my
What are you doing? You're
me
joking.
and my
You're the one who goes
co-host...
third.
It's order, bro. What do you mean?
We
Psychic.
introduced
We're
the
gonna-
guest at the
We're gonna
end.
intro. Oh,
Everyone, my
Psychic,
favorite
have you
member,
never
S3K.
listened to a podcast
Oh
ever?
my-
knows,
we were supposed to. Psychic, you're
S3K
cringing it so
stands for
hard.
Seth
We've literally always done it in
Kranzler.
the
That's
order.
my name.
That's huge.
Seth
That's big.
Kranzler, yo, Pong. You know what? I was gonna imagine we were gonna go through our names and we were gonna introduce you like a
Yeah.
well-oiled machine or
Yeah.
something. But Psychic just
Psychic
paused
fucked
and
it
said
up.
nothing.
Psychic
for a
We've
good
dropped the
30
ball
seconds.
on
always,
this
we've
one.
literally always done it in the order that people are on the Discord.
Nope.
Also, Huda, you've yet to introduce yourself. You never do it. You haven't done it a single time.
Well, everybody knows who
Okay.
he is, so.
Yeah, so
The man
true.
who needs no
I'm
introduction.
So cool and famous and Pog. I was at a call with Ludwig yesterday. That was Pog.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm famous. I'm real and cool and famous, and I don't have an ego either. I'm really humble.
The most humble of the S3K.
Mhm.
You heard it here first.
That's what they say. They say that.
Um,
Who the most humble member of S3K dat?
But
I haven't heard that one.
our guest is Seth Loves to Talk. Seth, would you like to introduce yourself for the people?
Hey everyone, my name is Seth. I love to talk. You might know me from the Atrioc ad contest. He also watched one of my videos on stream. I think it was the controller video. I make stuff on YouTube though at Seth Loves to Talk, youtube.com/c/SethLovesToTalk. Sometimes I stream on Twitch and stuff like that, but for the most part, catch my YouTube. Yeah, happy to be here.
And we're happy to have you.
Love
Pog.
Seth, and we love talking
Good
too. So
talking.
this
Yeah,
is big.
so
for
it
both
works
of us.
out. It works out.
So Seth, I think I'll start off some questions here. Since we are definitely an Atrioc, I don't know if we'd say affiliated, but definitely adjacent podcast.
Mhm.
What is your obviously we know you did the ad contest, but how is it not working with Atrioc?
How did I get my
Yeah.
start? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
I start
Yeah,
watching
yeah, yeah.
The
The
Seth
Big
Loves to
Trot?
Talk origins.
Yeah, or your
Yeah,
origin
I
story.
actually have a good one because I was a melee. I am a melee player, right? That's kind of like my entry into a lot of like the Twitch community was through melee. And I probably first saw Atrioc on the Scar and Toph show, which was, a melee centered thing that he did where he would kind of be more or less like the butt of the joke on the show. He was kind of like the Sheik that they were training and doing this whole thing. And so I first saw him there. I genuinely remember watching him play and being like, I could beat him in a Sheik Ditto. And what's funny is that I now have beat him, at least in a game, of a Sheik Ditto, which I never thought that would ever occur. So, but yeah, I first saw Atrioc there and didn't really think much of it until I think watching some Ludwig stream, like, Monkey Ball or one of those things, and was like, oh, it's that dude. It's the guy from Scar and Toph. And I found out he was a marketer and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He worked for Twitch, whatever. And I don't remember when, but I just started watching a Marketing Monday. And I knew he was funny, like, whatever. But I saw a Marketing Monday and was like, no, this is really good, inventive content. I would definitely watch this more. And so I started watching him pretty regularly throughout quarantine, as well as watching a lot of Ludwig stuff. So, like, yeah, it's only been like, year and a half or so. But yeah, I feel like I've, got in early.
You made Atrioc. You could say.
That's,
Yep, you made him. Yep.
In a way, yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
Should.
you can
Yeah.
say that. Yeah, I've heard a lot about the Scar and Toph show. I never watched it because back in those days I was like, what, fucking like 13, 12, whenever those shows coming out.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Um,
expect you guys to be into melee content. I'm 26, so
Yeah.
I was in college playing melee and day in day out on my grind. So that was my version of Atrioc playing League degenerately in college was me going to melee tournaments and playing melee at friends' houses at like 4 a.m.
That one's a lot better than just sitting in your room alone, though. So, hey,
Yeah.
that's big for you.
Huge.
Well, I wanted to actually ask you guys about that. So, like, how has it been kind of like, okay, you guys are obviously like, you know, the Atrioc leeches. You guys are like this insular community of people that have kind of risen all of you guys up together. Is this been like a good substitute for like normal friendship in this crazy time?
Well, like between the four of us, or like, do you mean like between our?
I mean,
community?
I really mean, I guess, like, obviously, like, you four are, like, kind of, like, you know, very close, but I really mean more so, like, just the Atrioc community in general, because, like, you know, you guys are really involved in this community. Like, has this been a good, you know, do you view this as, like, a net positive, basically?
I mean, it is a net positive, but I don't think anything can really replace like real life friendship.
Yeah.
Which is the issue, in the past year, especially given my situation. I'm not going to college, so it's harder to meet people when your like spaces aren't open, can't meet people. So the Atrioc community's definitely done a lot for me in that way, but I do know that it's like a lot of social interaction online can be bad. Like too much is too much, and you know, it is what it is. But I love everybody in the community. They're all my best friends, and they should all sub to me.
Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All right.
This is
I was
just
gonna
a
say.
long-winded.
If
Yeah.
you sub to
Plug,
him, maybe
huh?
you can hang out with him in his Discord.
Yeah, you can hang out with me.
True.
I hang
I
out.
was gonna say, for me at least, it's definitely, I would say it's a net positive because I kind of fucked up in high school where I did the thing where I didn't like, I didn't actually know like who I was or what I really liked, or like I did like I knew that I like video games and like shit like that, but I didn't hang out with anyone who was actually like hardcore like that. I hang out with like all of like the jocks. I was hanging out with the jocks, but I wasn't really that type. So it was like I was friend like obviously I like all those dudes there. We're all like we were friends, but I didn't have like any real best friends through high school until like a little bit in junior year where I met my one friend. I would say pretty much the only kid who I still talk to out of high school now for the most part. But even that got cut short because by spring of junior year we had COVID and shit. So I think just being part of HRX community has really just showed me like a group of people that I actually have a real shared interest with that I like and I can like actually like, you know, be myself here. So I think it's definitely been a net positive for me, but you definitely still need your real life friends, which I'm definitely starting to get more of now that I'm in my college classes and hanging out with people. So
That's nice.
yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
been good.
I agree with Hudat. Like, I have 3 periods of school in person, and that's basically all I do. And so, I'm friends with all the people in my classes, but, like, I don't really hang out with anyone. Like, because everyone's doing shit, and then the schedules are just kind of weird, because, like, I'm not really at school when they are, and, like, I leave at different times. And most of them play sports and shit. So it's just weird, and, like, hanging out with people, like, in Discord and just playing games and stuff is definitely fun. Because, like, even before COVID, like, I used to have not a bunch of friends, but like a bunch of people that I'd hang out with regularly because I used to live in like a really small town, and I still do, compared to like cities, but I used to live in a town with like 1,200 people. And so I had a couple friends that like lived very close to me and we'd always hang out. But since I've moved, like I've been friends with everyone, but there hasn't really been people that I've hung out with a lot or anything.
Yeah, moving
and so
during
it's-
this sounds super hard.
Mm-hmm.
I moved a year or two before.
Sure.
But like either way, I feel like at some point there's like a certain amount of years you have to know people or like to be able to make like a good connection or like realize who you really want to hang out with and who are really your like good friends. And I haven't really had that period yet. And so there's not really many people I hang out with or anything. So like having people online to hang out with is definitely nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And in my experience, kind of similar to Neg, like I withdrew from college, so I haven't had that group to make friends with. I will say
Were you ever in person
Yes, I was.
for college? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And the thing is, back at my college, I did not like the people I was around. So actually being at college wasn't
sure.
like, it wasn't a great social outlet for me because like the people there, I vibed way more with my high school friends, and I'm still really good friends with my high school friends. It's been like 3 years since we were high school, and we still have a very strong group chat. The thing is, when I started streaming and I like joined the HROC community, which has been super amazing. I'm sure all of us appreciate everyone. We love meeting new people. But I started like hanging out with Twitch people more often than my real friends and like neglecting them. And then I realized like, it didn't feel as fulfilling, I guess. Like you can, like Neg said, you can only get so
Yeah,
much
for
from
sure.
the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like what I wanted to like ask about because I think it's great that you guys are all close friends and like started a podcast like have this kind of like friendship that's clearly blossomed out of it. But I was just definitely curious because it's like you guys are all fairly young. I'm a little bit older and I just was curious because I have this conversation with my girlfriend who's like a month younger than I am, but is in grad school right now, and she was saying oh like I'm really, bummed that I'm going through this whole grad school program and, we're not in person. Like they're really just getting to in-person classes. And it was like, yeah, I can see that it's bad for grad school, but like I can imagine it's like so much worse for people that are like in high school, like or early stages of college where like for me, my college experience was like freshman year, like kind of similar to what like Hudat said, like you're trying to figure out who you are. Like I knew I had like a close group of friends from high school and stuff like that, but like I, had been into making videos and things like that in high school. I'd stopped. I went to college, still wanted to do it, but like didn't know how, what I wanted to make, things like that. And so like my first few years at college were definitely just like figuring out like who I wanted to be, like what I was interested in and all that. And most of that was not because of classes. It was just because of like, meeting people, seeing people that I liked and also seeing people I didn't like and being like, I don't want to be like this person. I don't want to have that, type of personality or sense of humor or whatever. So yeah, I was just definitely curious, but yeah, I'm glad that you guys, have this community because at the very least, like, it's been really enjoyable as someone that's like, pretty tangentially related just to see people like, being able to bond overall through just like random memes. And actually like not just like totally behind an a phone screen or whatever, but just being like no, like we'll hang out and play games and like whatever, and like we're actually friends from this experience. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say like another thing, like out of the 3 classes I'm in, one of them is a college class. So like
Psychic, are you
it's
like secretly like closet genius?
something like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
Um,
okay. Quick story about this. I had a kid who was like a 17-year-old in my quantum physics class. Okay, and
But-
I'm sitting there struggling. It's like one of the hardest classes I've ever taken. And someone's like, "That girl over there, she's in high school," and I was like, "That's fucking crazy." Next year, I see her again, and I'm like, "Oh, so she's in college now? Like she's taking classes here?" And they're like, "Oh no, she was a junior last year," and that just blew my mind even more.
Yeah.
But anyway, please continue.
That's psychic. That's basically
Yeah,
it.
my whole thing, I didn't even really know until like this year, but I have like a shit ton of high school credits already that I got through my elementary school, which I didn't know was happening because like so I went to a weird elementary school. I went to a Montessori school, which is basically
Yeah,
like
sure.
basically what we do all day is we have one homeroom and we don't really have like separate teachers. We have like a Spanish teacher who had a room, and she was also the teacher for like accelerated learning stuff. So I did like 3D modeling course, and we did like 3D printing and stuff in there, and I did advanced math in her room and stuff. But for the most part, like, and then there was a music room and all like there were no electives or anything, and then there was an art room, but for the most part, like, the teachers would either come into your room or it would be self-taught. So what it would be is like there's a layout of certain things on the board or certain things you have to do in this day. And you basically just choose what order you do them in. You do them yourself or with your friends or whatever. And then when you're done, you could like do whatever you want. Basically, like you could read, which don't know why you'd want to do that. Actually, cringe.
Who reads?
You could sit on your phone or something. But once you're done, you're just done for the day, which I really liked. But we didn't have grades. We didn't have like letter grades, and we didn't have percentage grades. And they'd grade the work, but it wasn't giving us a grade, it was giving us feedback more or less. So they'd look at it and be like, okay, you got this wrong, or okay, you like misspelled this, or like your grammar would be better if you did so and so. But it wouldn't be like, okay, you fucked all this up, you get a B instead of doing better. And so I think that was
How
really
do you
fun.
get high school credits there?
Yeah.
That's such a gap. Going from like, yeah, like I
Well,
would go to the art
that's the
room and they
thing.
would be like, paint a picture, and then all of a sudden I went into
Well, that's the thing that I didn't realize is like all of the accelerated learning courses, and I was doing like geometry and stuff. But I didn't know that I was getting credit for it because like I didn't know what credits were because like I just wasn't thinking about it. Like especially I think not having grades was the big thing because I didn't realize that like you could fail classes. I didn't really know that was like I knew it was a thing because of course I've seen people that go to normal schools and I know that grades exist.
Yeah, you'd
But I
see
didn't
media
really-
and stuff, right?
Yeah, but I didn't really know like how a normal school worked at all. And so yeah, it was kind of a weird transition going to middle school, especially because it was after elementary school that I moved. So I moved, and then it was also my first year of middle school. Also, okay, it went through 6th grade. So for me, middle school started in 7th.
Yeah.
So I started halfway through the middle school where I am now. But yeah, it was just weird
Wait,
moving and
you're
then
not
going
in
to
middle
an
school now?
entirely different school. No, where I am now, as in the place I
Like the
live.
school
Okay, okay,
system.
okay.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
wild to me. That's like a very big transition. To go from like that type of learning system. I also think it is pretty interesting that you're like, yeah, like I didn't know you could fail a class, just because I could totally see that that's a big
Yeah.
advantage to have early on in learning, of not thinking that like, oh, I can fail. Instead, it's more just like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
the
like-
thing
It changes your mindset.
that I realized halfway through
Absolutely.
my 6th grade year was like, I can just not do it. So that's what I did. And then I was just like not enjoying where I live because there was just literally nothing to do.
Hey, work smarter,
Like-
not harder.
We had
Yeah.
to drive like 45 minutes, which I guess isn't that much if you live in a city because there's just so much and there's traffic and stuff and like you're covering less ground and more time. But like we'd have to drive 45 minutes to like go to a rec center and like there isn't a fast food place. Like there's not a single
Yeah, sure.
McDonald's or anything where we live,
Ooh.
which seems like just such a random thing like that doesn't matter at all. But it's just so weird going from that to a place where like holy shit, if I wanted to, I could go and I could enjoy myself.
Are you
like
in
it-
or near a city now, but you weren't before? You're saying?
I'm not near a city, but it's like consider like where I live now,
There's just
like
more
20K
around you.
people.
Gotcha.
Like
okay,
20K,
okay.
15K people. But like I still have to drive probably the closest what I'd consider a city is probably like an hour and a half away.
Gotcha. Damn.
And most people probably wouldn't even consider it a city for like given what big cities are, but for me it
Just move.
feels like it. Good one.
I
That's
think
helpful.
I think about that a lot
Appreciate
when
it.
I'm on like road trips or whatever, and just see like random like small towns that are like maybe like 20 houses, and there's not a grocery store or any like food at all around. I'm like, what the hell do these people do? They just drive like 30 or 45 minutes out of town to go to the grocery store every week. or
Yeah.
every time
Have you ever heard the term food desert?
I have not.
No.
Okay, so a food
Enlighten us.
desert, it's not a concept unique to a rural area, but a food desert implies a place that is not does not easily have access to food. And so like they exist in cities. So like I'm in Seattle. I'm in an area of Seattle that's like, you know, I can walk to my nearest grocery store and walk back. It would probably be like a 10-minute walk, not even. But there are other areas of Seattle that are less built up, that have less people living there for the most part. Most of the time, they're lower income people. That area doesn't have as many grocery stores, whether that's because of profitability or location spaces, whatever. Like, there's tons of reasons why. Like, but places will basically just not have easy access to groceries. And then the idea behind a food desert is that oftentimes, like, those areas are more likely to lead to a lower income area that's less likely to have more accessible resources, like food, which is like obviously a very basic thing to have, right? But like if you don't have easy access to food, you're less likely to succeed as a whole. So it's definitely like a thing. you know, just being able to have like, you know, stuff nearby is a big deal. So I totally get like not having not having stuff nearby is challenging. I grew up in like a very small area of like a larger kind of like nearby city, like 100,000 people, but like, you know, my little neighborhood was like 8,000 people, was on the water, like super picturesque and idyllic. And just like I was really lucky to be able to just like ride my bike around and have like neighborhood kids that I would meet, hang out with and stuff like that. So like I definitely like look back on that and be like, wow, when I was a kid, like there were plenty of things I didn't like about like growing up in a, you know, really nice area and having like very kind of like pompous people around, but at the same time, I was very privileged to have like a beach I could go ride my bike to and like other kids that were I was able to play baseball with in sports or whatever it was. So,
I mean, to be
yeah.
fair, I think in our age, I mean, I don't know if the other guys can like attest to this, but like when I was young, I didn't really have much freedom to do anything. Like, I think parents became like very protective of their children, and like if I was gonna go hang out with somebody or like do something, like it had to be pre-planned, like ahead
Oh yeah.
with the other person's parents. I couldn't just go hang out with my friend like at the park or something. Like it'd have to be like this pre-arranged event. Which definitely I feel like at a younger age, it kind of like slows down your social growth because you're not like getting this experience like, oh, like we're gonna meet here. Like you're not planning stuff. You're not like doing that. And then it gets to like an older age where everybody's on social media and nobody interacts with each other, and it just sucks. So
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
had that sweet spot of like I didn't have an iPhone until like junior year of high school. Like Instagram and stuff like that wasn't popular until then. Like
Mhm.
it definitely was this nice little sweet spot. I think where like I was probably one of the last like real like yeah, I would call people up on like landlines to be like, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" And then we would just like go meet at like a park or the movies. Like it really was pretty impromptu.
Hmm. Like,
Yeah.
I can really relate because, yeah, I had to plan everything. I was never allowed that much freedom, and the first time that I was offered a ride, like I didn't understand the concept because my parents always drove me around. So one day, like my friend's parent asked me if I wanted a ride, and I was like, what is that? Like I literally couldn't grasp my head around like, oh, someone else is gonna drive me around for today. I'm gonna go hang out with someone. So yeah, I totally get that. And I think
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if that's a thing nowadays. I've heard stories of like past generations, like my mom and dad, and then their parents, like they every day after school they just like go and play. Like their parents would be like, ah, come back by 10, and then that's it.
yep.
And it's crazy
Yeah, I
how
mean that's basically what I had. Like I would just come home from school, you know, I didn't have to tell my mom like where I was going per se. It was more just like, hey, like I'm just gonna go ride my bike, and like I could go leave and be gone for a while. Like I had my phone on me or whatever, so like she could call me if she needed to. But like, yeah, I'm actually like kind of surprised, I guess, here that like that's the case. It makes some sense of more like you know the people are more connected now. But I would also think that like if you're able to be more connected, you know, you could let your kids kind of do more, you know?
Yeah, I had almost the exact opposite of that because I lived in such a small area cuz like there wasn't anything like one thing that I didn't really think about, I guess, but like that you don't have to worry about is you don't have to worry about fucking cars. Like you're not
Yeah.
going to get hit by a car. There's like a car going down that road that you're going to walk on every hour. Like you're just in such a small spot. Like I could just go and be like, "Yeah, I'm going to go down to see if my friend." Like I wouldn't call my friends because at a certain point like we no longer had a landline and my parents had iPhones, but like I didn't want to figure out how to use that thing. I didn't know where the on button was. So I'd just like ride my bike down to my friend's house and knock on his door and see if he was there. And we just hang out and do a bunch of random shit. But like, um,
That's like my memory of like my childhood of like what if people are like, "Oh, like what's childhood like?" To me it's like, "Oh, you just like go around with your friends in the neighborhood like playing in the woods." Like, I don't know.
yeah. And then it got a bit more difficult, like, because I still didn't have a phone at some point. But then, like, once we want to start, like, doing, like, more stuff, like, we're bored of just going to the same park we've been going to since we were 3 years old. Like, at a certain point, we got really into, like, going to the trampoline park and stuff, and me and my friends got really into, like, flips and stuff. And so we'd go like once a week to the trampoline park that was like an hour and a half drive away, and we can't drive there. We have to drag our parents there, but like we're these 10-year-old kids like looking all big-eyed up at our parents, just being like, can we please go? I really want to go jump on the trampolines. And they're not real, like they say no sometimes, but at some point like they're not doing anything there either. Like they want to go somewhere else. They don't want to sit in this awful town that has nothing there.
Yeah. I just
And
want to shout out Quack quickly. Hey, Quack, how are you doing? I know that you're really pained having to listen to my intonation now, how I speak. Don't know if you guys ever caught that. Quack, I think it was like after my controller video, Atrioc was playing on stream. Quack puts in the chat, he's like, there's something about it. I don't mean this to be disrespectful. I can't stand the way you talk. And I was just like, damn, dude, that's my whole brand. Like,
What's wrong with his
Quack would
cadence?
just flame people for
Fucked up
Quack
Quack.
just yeah.
I mean, you know,
pocket,
voices
man.
are voices. Everyone's got different voices and stuff like that. You know, Quack's Canadian. I'm sure that, you know,
That's
people give him some
True,
shit.
that is kind of cringe.
I mean, you know, look, I love Canada.
Coming from you, Evan.
Yeah, I'm
Don't try
not
to-
loyal.
don't try to hide it.
Listen, I don't know. I don't
don't
even
try
know
to
the
hide it.
second verse of the Canadian national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
But Seth, if it means anything, I like the way you talk. Okay, don't
Hey,
let
I
Quack
appreciate
get you
it,
down.
know.
Could you
That
sing
is
the first
actually
verse?
a good segue.
Oh, Canada.
Our home.
Boom.
Thanks.
Got him. I'm just so
There we
good.
go.
Come on, Evan. You gotta
I
know
don't.
more.
I literally don't know the rest.
Damn. A citizen and doesn't even know the national anthem.
Yeah, ironically, I'm not even a
Yikes.
citizen of the United States. I have a green card, but I
Well,
don't know
really?
the national anthem. Yeah.
That's actually good though, because if you're a citizen in the United States, you have to pay taxes no matter where you live. Like you can live in a different country and you have to pay income tax no matter what, which is
Mhm.
odd.
That is weird.
There's only two countries that do this, like the United States and like Syria. So you know, that says a lot
It's-
about the United States.
It's
Big deal.
weird though because like my uncle
I want
that
to ask who my favorite rapper was.
Oh, yeah,
This
they
is
are.
my favorite
Rest-
rapper. It's MF Doom.
R.I.P.
Rip.
It's weird because my uncle is here right now from Austria and he still has to file taxes, but he doesn't pay like income tax on his tax like on his income that he makes there. He just has to file taxes like if he were to make any income from the US, or like if through his job someone was paying him from the US, he'd have to do the taxes for that. But like he doesn't get taxed on his income from there. So it's weird because like you still have to file taxes even if you're not making anything. You could own nothing in the US, have no property tax, no income tax or anything. You're not paying any bills, but you still have to file and write like I didn't make any money. Why are you sending me this shit? And I don't know why.
Fuck you, government.
Yo, taxes suck.
Yo,
Base
I'm gonna
trace.
get fucked next year. Because I started doing freelance work this year for like editing stuff and all that. And like I work for Microsoft. Like all of my tax stuff has been really easy up until now because Microsoft just says, hey, this is how much you made, this is how much you paid in taxes already. You know, it's like integrated into TurboTax, super easy. But next year I've got to be like, okay, I rebuilt my PC, which counts as a deduction for, you know, my business, and like provide receipts and do all that shit. Like I've got all this, you know, payments from like, you know, Beyond the Summit, or like I'm gonna get paid by Slime and Ludwig for running the yard clips, and I've got to just do that shit all on my own. So that's
Do
gonna
you
suck.
do that?
But
Do you run the yard clips?
I run the yard clips.
you can get
I
us on the
started
yard
doing it
then.
like 2.5, 3 weeks ago. What did you
Thanks.
say?
Pretty
You
good
can get
gig.
us on the yard then, right?
I don't know if I could do
You
that.
At
got
least get
those
us Ludwig.
connections, right?
You can get us Ludwig,
Slime
though.
likes me.
He kind of turned
Slime-
down
Really?
food.
Dude,
That's a high
every
honor
time I
because Slime
tweet it-
hates everybody.
I really
True.
do value it a lot. Every time I've tweeted at Slime, I've been like, okay, like this might be it. Like I might just get
You might
blocked.
get
I
blocked,
lose my
yeah.
chance. And so every time though it's worked out, he's either liked my tweets or thought they were funny or whatever. And one of my like favorite, like most prized screenshots was just when I got hired by Envy. And so he added me to the Discord, and he's like, "All right, this is Seth. Seth's running the clip channel." And Slime saw the message and went, "Oh, this guy's funny." and then tagged me and said, "Seth, you're funny." And then immediately
Sick.
after just said, "Hey, can we get a clip of Eamon like riding the Sibian?" And I'm just like, I don't know what this is, but holy shit, Slime said I was funny. I've made it, you know?
That's sick.
I'm a Twitter celebrity.
But here's the best question: which is better, S3K podcast or The Yard?
It's not really a
That's
question.
the real question.
Yeah.
It's not a,
That's
it's
a
not a
real
question.
We
The
all
answer is
know the
obvious.
answer. We all
No,
You guys know the
Yeah.
answer.
We all
I don't
know
need
the
to
answer.
answer. You guys know what I would
We
say.
know
all
in
know,
our heart
we all
of
know.
hearts.
Yeah, we all know.
Everyone
Doesn't
knows
need
who's
to
the
be
best. You don't have to
discussed.
say it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Quick question for Hudat, did you watch any of Star Wars Visions yet?
Oh yeah, I did. I watched like half of it and then I fell asleep because
Okay,
I was tired.
can we agree that I've only seen the first 3? Episodes 2 is, I think, the worst thing I've seen in my life.
Is Star Wars Visions Tartakovsky? Is it? No, that's the other one.
It's
Okay,
a
never
bunch
mind,
of
never mind.
different. It's a bunch of different studios. They just released
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's 7
Isn't it like the
studios with 9
anime?
episodes.
The anime one.
Yeah.
I watched episode 2. It's not that bad, bro.
What universe
Speaking
are
of
you
Clone
living
Wars.
in?
It's you gotta
Clone Wars
lighten
is
up,
fire.
bro. It's like there's like 10 different episodes. They're all made by different people and they're all just telling random shit. I mean, it wasn't basically. All right, I'm gonna tell you the basic premise of the story.
Okay.
The story of this episode is that basically a kid Jedi gets he somehow gets lost and gets found by like someone related to Jabba the Hutt. He's a
It's
fucking,
like
he's one
Jabba
of
the Hutt's
he's-
edgy emo son,
yeah,
and he wears
yeah,
like
it's like
he
Jabba the
wears
Hutt's edgy
wears
emo son, and he wears the
Buford's skull T-shirt.
yeah, and like
That's
the
exactly
John
what he
Lennon
wears.
glasses, and they start a band, and the whole episode is like his son is about to become Jabba's son is about to be executed for being emo basically, and but the kid like makes a deal with Jabba the Hutt to play one performance, and they just do like they just sing like a song in front of in episode 1 when they do the pod racing in that big arena.
Yeah.
There's like there's like the stands filled with aliens and crap. They go there and they just sing a song, and then they're so good that Jabba's like, "Alright, I'll let you leave."
Well,
That
then the thing
sounds
is
so
that
fucking
it's not even
dumb.
true. He's about to execute them, and then he's like, "Hey, you!" And then there's one kid in the. It's basically every single Disney movie where the person is in high school and they're in a band, which is like half of them, except the songs are dog shit. And then then they're done. Jabba's still about to execute them, and then one kid in the crowd is like, "Play another one!" And then
and then everyone in the crowd starts getting up and they start cheering for him.
and then the
Just
lead
imagining Fortnite
singer.
dances.
The lead singer goes, "Jabba, we're playing this one so that you can become our first sponsor, because we're gonna
Oh, yeah,
become the
that part.
biggest band in the
Yeah.
galaxy."
Yeah.
It was
There's no
so
shot
Now that I
that's
think,
bad.
now that I think about it,
That's so bad.
it is pretty. Now that I think about it, it's pretty bad.
yeah.
But I don't really care that much. You know what I mean? Because all the stories in that thing are non-canon, and they're just like
Oh,
for
okay.
fun. Yeah.
My girlfriend's
None
seen
of
like
it- none
all
of
the
it-
Star Wars, like Clone Wars, like all the like additional
Clone Wars is fire,
like
though.
TV shows and things like that. I'll have to ask her what she thinks because I don't think she's seen this yet, but I'm sure she'll
It
watch
came
it at
out
some point.
today, so
Gotcha.
Mm.
10-15 minute episodes that are just like short animes.
Evan, I gotta ask you, do you actually like drinking out of the flask, or is it just funny?
Actually, so this flask holds 64 ounces. So,
So
yes.
you just drink one a day?
Yeah, basically. It's actually
Yeah.
so, like, it's compact, and it's really nice. You can fit it into backpacks. Like, if you had a hydro flask that could hold 64 ounces, it would take up so much space, but this is actually,
That
like,
is a good point. It's kind of just like a laptop.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
nice
I
and
think-
compact. It's good.
I think big water bottle like this one. This is a huge water bottle that's made out of the same thing Evans is, so it just keeps stuff cold for a long time. I think they're really fire, except like I think the thing that's good with the flask is like this lid is bigger than my mouth, so it's hard
I
to drink
spill
without
water
spilling
on
because it
myself
just like.
all the time, and this isn't even that big.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
what happens for mine at least is I get water in the cap, and so then I pull the cap off, and then I just
It
give
sprays.
myself a nice little facial. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seth, what you're saying literally just happened to me right now.
Yeah.
I just opened
yeah.
the app and watched
Every
it.
time.
It's
Invest in
happened
a
to me
large metal
3
flask.
times in this
I'm
podcast.
telling you, it's worth it.
Bro, this part,
It's
the
the
part
streamer
where you
setup.
put your lips is literally bigger than, like, just the bottom part is bigger than my mouth edge to edge. So like if I tip it back more than this, depending on how much
Yeah.
water there is, it just goes
Yeah, it's
past
like-
my mouth on the sides.
Yep.
I am impressed that you guys all have water bottles because this sounds stupid in hindsight. I didn't
Psychic.
know
Or neg
about
out here.
drinking water until I was like 21. Like I didn't drink water.
Ah.
Neg, you're muted by the way. If you are,
Yeah, no, I'm not
you're
muted.
good,
I'm
you're good,
just
you're good.
mouthing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just mouthing. I don't drink
You're-
water.
I was gonna say, dude.
Yeah.
I this is not a meme. This is advice for anyone watching. Drink water,
Hydrate
eat vegetables,
or
it
dehydrate?
will catch up to you, and it sucks. It is
Does
bad.
does life just start going downhill after 25?
Dude,
is that the
I
peak?
just like in seriousness, it was more so that like I just dealt with things that I didn't know were caused because I was dehydrated. Like I played a ton of sports, was really like constantly getting sore and things like that. I never had like major injuries, but like I would get like just winded for shit that like even though I was in decent shape, like whatever, my life changed genuinely just drinking more water every day. Also, kidney stones. I got super paranoid of getting a kidney stone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna drink water, and now I drink
Man, you're making
64
me feel
ounces
bad.
at least a day. Neg,
You're making
I
me feel
promise
bad.
you, it's not too late, but you should.
Hey,
You
reminder,
should, like-
reminder
So,
to
I
people
used
at
to
home,
have-
take a sip right now. If you're
Yeah,
watching.
water break.
I used to use this water bottle, which like it's a nice water bottle and it keeps stuff cold, but it's tiny. Like cause I also like a lot of ice in my water and I like really cold water. So I'd fill it with ice and then it'd be like, once I want water, I unscrew it, have a couple sips, and then there's not enough for me to do that again. So I just like wouldn't get enough water, and then I was like, at one point, I just for some reason was like, I want a bigger water bottle. One of the most fire purchases I've ever made.
I guess it's
Yeah.
not that I don't like to drink water. It's just I don't think about it. So like it's like whenever I actually
Yeah.
feel like thirsty, like
It's already too late.
yeah.
You're already
well,
dehydrated. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
girlfriend doesn't like water, but like
Oh,
she
well,
drinks
it's
a lot
not
of
that.
drinks. She has tea like 4 times a day. She'll drink tea, but she doesn't like water, so she like won't drink
Well-
plain water straight up.
Well, that's not
Yeah.
me at least. At least I'm not that far gone where I
Yeah.
won't drink water. But
You gotta start. Even just as long as you're drinking liquids, man. Liquids
Yeah.
make you feel better, straight up.
maybe that's why my head always hurts.
I genuinely
Yes,
probably is.
that's what-
That's
yes.
why you're
Probably
sad
is.
all the
That's
time. I don't know.
actually a really good reason why it could hurt.
Chad, I'm,
My
my problems are solved.
I went on like a school field trip on a schooner, which is just like it's like a pirate ship. Okay, a schooner is like a 2-masted ship. It's got basically multiple masts and sails, and it was one of the worst school field trips you can go on. Even though it was a very cool idea, you were sleeping in like 3 triple stacked bunk beds on a
Oh,
boat,
it was an overnight
going
trip?
through. Oh, big time! It was like 3 or 4 days. Like
Oh, okay,
you are literally
okay.
sailing a schooner with a crew that knows what they're doing for sure, but like you have responsibilities. You'd have to wake up
Child
at like
labor.
4 a.m. and do night watch. Like
Oh, wow.
the boat's probably like a 70-foot boat. Like it's a pretty big boat, and like you list pretty hardcore. Like when you're in choppy water, you're really tilting. Like you need to hold on to shit, or like you can fall over. Like it was an interesting experience to make a bunch of like juniors in high school do. But one of the things that happened was that we had we had 80 people in the grade about. So we split us up between 3 boats. So you had like about 25 people on a boat, 30 people. And we probably had like 12 or 14 people that were basically just constantly vomiting the entire time. And what the crew said to everyone was like, if you are ever feeling bad, just drink water. There is nothing that will make you feel better than just drinking water. Come up, get fresh air, and pound water. I promise you, you will feel better. You probably aren't drinking enough water.
I'm dying.
And now I
Chad.
take that advice all the time. Anytime my head hurts, stuff like that, I just drink water.
I'm actually gonna take another
Yeah.
sip right now. Hold
Chad,
on.
I'm dying.
I didn't realize that it took wrestling is what taught me that I need to drink water actually. Like I did my first wrestling practice, I thought I was dead. I was laying after the practice like 3 hours or whatever. After I got home, I was just laying in bed and I fucking like couldn't move. My head hurt. I was like I thought I was just dead forever. I was so sore. And ever since that, pretty much all throughout, at least during wrestling season and football season for sure, I was that guy in high school who's carrying around the gallon water bottle
Yeah.
that you buy from like Circle K.
Yeah.
Hydro
And
homies.
and I went a little bit brazy with it. I would drink that whole gallon of water before I would get into wrestling practice.
Did that
And
work for
then-
you? Doesn't that just?
Well, so it's a thing for wrestling
Yeah.
though
You
too, because
refill it,
wrestling's
don't
all
you?
about
Yeah.
cutting weight. So like
Okay.
having water weight that you can then basically just sweat out means that you can
Yeah.
make weight for your meat a lot easier. So like
Mm.
water's important, but like wrestling has like a whole thing surrounding like how much water you should take, and like wrestling also goes in the extreme though, where they don't drink water because they don't want to have any additional weight.
Yeah, it's
I
like
had like a super crazy wrestling coach that would like drop 10 pounds in a day.
Wow.
yeah. There was one time where I had to when I was cutting weight. For like 2 days I didn't eat or drink anything all the way up until the wrestling meet.
Because you have
I
like
think-
15 minutes, right? Like in between when you get weighed and then you
Mhm.
you start your meet, and so like that's the
Mhm.
time where you're like, okay, I can drink water, I can eat food again.
Yeah. So I did that, and then luckily for this, it was a 2-day tournament, but you didn't weigh in the second day.
Okay.
So that day after when I got home, I ordered an extra large pizza from Papa John's and the cheesy bread, and I ate it all and it felt fine. It was crazy.
Wrestling's
But
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That shit
with-
was crazy.
With wrestling, I wrestled for 1
Wait,
year.
You wrestled?
I wrestled
when
for
did we
1
not know
year.
this about
at
you?
One
the
year
end,
wrestling squad, let's go.
At the end of middle school, I was good because
Nice.
for my weight class, like I was really good because my weight is none.
Yeah.
And so I was really good. But then when I went to high school, I had fun with it and I wanted to keep doing it. I don't have a weight class.
It
Like,
doesn't
I'm too
exist
small.
For you? Damn.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's not a high school
damn,
weight
Dude,
class
you
for
should
me.
just do it, and then
Ultra
like win.
featherweight.
All they can like what they can do is
You
they
can
just forfeit every match, so your team will just get free points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the
Ooh.
only wrestling I ever won, was where they just didn't have someone in my weight class, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something I didn't realize with water is like there's places where people have to buy bottled water. Like people's
Yeah.
tap water is bad. Like
I
I live in
lived with a guy
Colorado.
who has family in Flint, Michigan. And it was just like, yeah, like it's a
I've-
problem.
I've
Yeah.
been to my friend's cabin in Fresno, or was it? Yeah, Fresno, and their water tastes like sulfur. It is just rotten egg water. And I was like,
is
oh
Fresno
wow.
like further in? Like it's not
Yeah.
it's not on the coast, right?
Yeah, it's
okay,
not
okay.
Yeah.
near the
Yeah.
coast.
Yeah,
It's
so
disgusting.
I live in Colorado and we live like in the mountain. Like we don't live on the east like by Denver. We live like in the middle of the mountains, which is where like most of the water comes from. Like we have the lake that's nearest or the reservoir that's nearest to me has diversions to California, to Arizona, like just to a bunch of places.
Yeah, you've got dank water.
Yeah, and we have a well and we have like fire water. Like not a well as in like you have the
Fire water.
fucking
well
bucket that you have to
gained.
drop
Well
down there.
gained.
But it's just like it uses the electricity to pull the water up from
Yeah, I know
in
how
the
a
ground.
well
Though.
works. Know how
That's
a well
wild.
Well,
works.
yeah, but
In case you
Yo.
didn't know, chat.
I did imagine that
Mhm.
Psychic was out here like pumping water
Yeah, he's just
with like
Yeah,
pigtails
every
and,
morning
like,
just
Yeah.
fucking
churning
going
butter
at it.
afterwards. Like
Go down there one day, the dog had to
Um,
go wake his parents up.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a fire story about getting sick on a field trip though.
I swear to God, I thought you were about to say about the time I got stuck in a well. I swear to God, I thought you were about to say that.
I was gonna save that story for another pod, but I could tell that
Psychic
one
was
too.
saved
Alright.
by Lassie. Do you guys wait? Before you tell this, do you guys know who Lassie is? Is that like just such boomer media that hasn't propagated down to you?
I know who
Oh,
Lassie
yeah.
is. I don't know why I know who Lassie is.
I don't know.
Okay,
Lassie.
what is Lassie?
It's a
Dog.
dog, right?
Yeah, Lassie
I don't
is
know
like
anything about
a,
it.
Is
a
it
special
Old
type of
Yeller or
collie. It's not a border collie. No, Old Yeller's different. Quick story about Old Yeller. We did like, a book report type thing in like elementary school. 2 people were reading Old Yeller, two girls in my class. I hadn't read the book, but like saw the movie or something and was like, oh, is that the book where the dog dies? They hadn't gotten to that point. They just started crying in the middle of class. I got
Damn.
detention for it.
No.
Oh,
Anyway.
So, someone in chat said it who I know in real life, said about the 8th grade trip. So in 8th grade, I went on a field trip on the 3rd week, of school starting, I think. And basically, it was called Taylor Challenge. So you go and you stay in cabins, and, you do a bunch of different things. Like, on the first day, we did the ropes course, my group did. So, like, there's the first half of the day, there's this massive zip line and then this big rope swing where basically there's one person holding the rope, or basically everyone in the line's holding the rope
Bunch of
because
different like
people are
team
heavy.
building exercises, right?
Yeah, and everyone
Yeah.
pulls the rope, and then you go super high up, and then you detach it, and you swing super far. And then the second half of the day was the ropes course. So there's one where you like go with a partner and you walk along a long thing, and there's a zip line at the end. And then there's one where you climb up like a 40-foot tower while attached to a rope, and then you have to jump off, and it catches you,
Oh, I did
which
that
was
shit. That shit was
terrifying.
fog as hell.
I hate the jumping off shit. That's
Did they
literally
have like
it's
the
not
bell
fun.
that you have to try and ring? At the top,
Oh,
like,
there's
you
that
jump
one
up
too.
on it,
That
you
one's
can ring
cool
the
though,
bell.
because that one like you jump and you grab like what they had. You jump and you grab like one of those swings that you hang on to.
Mhm.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. When the same
Yeah, I
thing you're
know.
talking about, it was just like a giant 40-foot thing. You jumped off, but they just had like a bell that was super far out. And if you jump and touch it, it was basically like you're cool. And if you can't touch it, you're a lame nerd and shouldn't be
Yeah.
at this camp.
Yeah, that one
Basically,
you
it's basically
jump.
what it felt like. Of course, I
You
gotta
jump?
go. Of course, easily.
Obviously.
Yeah. You jump, get on the swing, and then you jump and hit the bell. But that's a different one. There's one where you just have to jump, and it's not fun because you're just jumping, and it lasts 2 seconds, and it's like, holy shit, I don't want to do this.
So Psychic, on which obstacle did you shit your pants?
None of them, surprisingly. I've gotten pretty good at trusting harnesses and stuff though, because I climb, so I wasn't too worried about it. But
Okay.
But basically, the point of this story, on the morning of the 3rd day, which we got to do all the cool stuff in my group, we did the ropes course, and then we did, I don't even remember what the fucking other thing was, actually. We did the ropes course, well, but we missed fly fishing and archery, which I don't care.
Ooh.
I can go and do that in my
Of
backyard.
course I'm out.
Fishing, Sag.
But in the morning, we wake up at 4 in the morning to one of the people in our cabin, and there's a bunch of different cabins. Mine had 4 or 5 people. We wake up at 4 in the morning to one of the people having to go outside and throw up. We think that he's just like sick because it's super cold and they're super poorly insulated. And it's fine, and we go back to sleep. 5 in the morning, our fire alarm goes off. Except, okay, and this fire alarm is so weird. It has no like thing that says what the sounds mean. It is a fire alarm comboed with a carbon monoxide
I was
alarm.
gonna say, are you
And
about to
it's
tell me that
on
you
the
guys
ceiling.
almost all died from carbon monoxide poisoning?
It's a fire alarm comboed with a carbon monoxide alarm, and it's on the ceiling. So if there was carbon monoxide, we're already dead when the alarm goes off. But the sound, it was just out of battery. And
Okay, sure.
that,
It's just
but there was no
wheezing.
way to discern the sounds. And then, at like 10 minutes after the alarm goes off, the principal comes into our cabin and he's like, we have to go. And apparently, just a shit ton of people got super sick. Like a bunch of people were throwing up everywhere. Like it was like bad. And so we all had to load up onto a bus. Like they had to call the bus driver at 5 in the morning to have him come up. So we all load up on this bus at 6:30, 7 in the morning. And there's kids that are and it's freezing cold because where we live, it gets really cold, especially around like the fall and the winter. It's freezing cold and there's kids that refuse to close their windows because they're stupid.
Oh,
Typical
so
bus
cringe.
behavior.
Actually,
Yeah.
typical bus behavior. The kids
Um,
just won't open up or close the window.
And so it's freezing. We're driving back. And like I got super sick that day, but I didn't get sick while we were there. I got sick when I got home and it was really bad, but it wasn't. And then all of the kids who got sick had to ride home in the car with the principal, who's also the principal. I don't remember if I told this story or not. Who is also the principal that cheated on his wife with the secretary or with the counselor during school hours in his office, and they got caught.
Oh.
That's
Same
epic.
principal. He was still the principal after that for 2 years, and then he quit
Sigma
this year or the
male.
year before. And they all
Don't
had
say
to ride in
Sigma.
the car with him.
Sigma grind set. Sigma grind set.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Cheating on your wife.
That's huge.
Wait,
That's wild.
was there a reason
So-
for everyone getting
yeah,
sick?
what
Was
was
it
the
like the
reason?
food?
Yeah,
or was
so
it
did you
just
get- yeah.
cold?
I think it was food. I don't remember what it was. It was either food poisoning or no. Everyone thought it was food poisoning, and it was just like a type of flu. I
That was
don't
a
remember.
flu.
Maybe Blitz knows what it was, but I don't remember. Also, field trip. Okay, water. Oh shit. Okay, another
Tainted
field trip
water.
story about boats. In
Boats.
6th grade, the Montessori school had this really cool thing where you would take, so I live in Colorado, and you would take a field trip
Yeah.
to thank you, Neg, that was helpful. You take a field trip to
I appreciate it because Psychic, you have to understand, I just spent, what time is it now? 7:30. I got off work at 6 o'clock and I still have to go back to work. I'm working with a team in China. I'm fucking
Yes.
busting my ass for a deadline on Friday. Like, I spent today being an adult and hating the fact that I'm an adult, and now I'm like in a call with, like, no offense, children. And it's just amazing. I love it. I'm really glad to be here, but it is so funny just to be like, right. Like, I was thinking of topics, and I was like talking to my girlfriend. I'm like, I don't want to like come across as like the ultimate boomer, but I'm literally like, so like, what's it like being in high school, and like what is, how is it having social media, being around constantly at any moment of your life? Like,
It's like
Yeah.
the questions that adults look up to like connect with their children.
yeah, I mean, no, for sure. Like, I was literally like, I wanna like give advice on shit, like, you know, what should you do when you're like looking for a job and in college and you're trying to figure out like what you want to do with your life. But I also don't want to just come in and be like, so kids, like, what's up?
Yeah.
For the person that asked in chat, I'm a software engineer at Microsoft.
Also, sorry for doing a little trolling, Psychic.
Oh yeah, Psychic, please continue
I
about
think
your
we know
boat
live in
story.
You have to
Colorado.
talk at some point, Neg.
You keep mentioning that you live in Colorado, like over
Yeah,
and
you
over
do say it every
again.
time.
You do go to a
Yeah,
Montessori
so-
school, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we went to Long Beach, and we stayed on the Queen Mary, and then we took a boat to Catalina Island, which is an island off the coast of California. And that boat was awful because I get super bad motion sickness, and so it was like a 2-hour thing, which isn't that long, but I felt
Bro, you
horrid
on
the whole
schooner,
time.
you would have been captain of the Vom Squad. I'm not joking. The boat that
Vomit
we were on
Comet.
just moved like this. It was
yeah,
unreal.
I'll bet. Yeah, and so we went there and it was super fun, and we went snorkeling, and they had like climbing and hiking there and stuff, and it was really fun. They had this thing with code name Long Division. And we had to call it that because they made us call it that when we got back from the field trip at school so that we wouldn't spoil it for the other kids. But it's basically, you go into this like maze thing. Have you ever seen one of those mazes where it's basically like
Like a corn maze?
no, it's just super compact. Like, it's a maze, but it's just like a box basically. Like, probably like a 20 by 20 foot box, but it's like it's hundreds of feet of paths and stuff because it's multiple levels and it's all stacked.
Oh, it's vertical.
It's
Oh.
vertical and horizontal.
No, I have
But
no idea what you're talking
It was
about.
basically like that, except there were only a couple paths, except it was pitch dark. You lit like
Well,
it was underground and there were no lights or anything, so you just couldn't see anything. And so you'd go in there, and you'd just be crawling around in the dark, no clue where you're going, you just have to feel around for everything. But it was really fun.
You
Bro,
guys
what
ever
the
done an
fuck?
escape room?
yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah,
I
I
love
love
escape
Yeah.
rooms.
Yeah,
Mhm.
escape
wanna-
rooms are dang.
I want to try to do an escape room for a stream.
That would
That's
be
even
fun.
possible.
So
That would be
there's
fun.
PAX was just in Seattle, and last PAX, that was I guess the year before. My friends messaged me. They're like, "Hey, do you want to come do a D&D escape room at PAX?"
And
I was like, wait,
that sounds amazing.
What do
That
you
sounds
mean?
sick.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting. I have a chip from it. Basically, like, you know, I play D&D. It's not a lot like D&D, if I'm honest, beyond that, like, you'd have a character and some powers. But as you went through this kind of like 8-room, it wasn't an escape room. It was much more like you go into a new room, there's an activity in that room, you go to the next room. But you basically have, you know, your D&D style characters. Like, there's monks, there's a rogue, there's a barbarian, whatever. And then you have respective powers during a game of shuffleboard. And so like you do an activity and then you play shuffleboard as combat, basically.
Okay.
So like that was really as D&D as it got, but it was
Such a
definitely
random
interesting.
thing.
Point being though, you could definitely, I think, film during that, because it was at PAX.
Nice.
Although maybe they wouldn't be cool with it because it's a whole franchised thing, but
Yeah.
like if you wanted to do it, that would be the place to do it because you can. It was definitely designed for like to be marketed and brought around to different places.
I'm thinking of actually
Yeah,
having my
that's it.
friend Elk make me one, because she came up with that idea, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so down.
That's fun.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
sick.
Yeah.
doing a custom-made escape room stream would be a good stream.
True.
Speaking of PAX, TwitchCon was announced, which is exciting. I'm so
Yes.
ready for events to come back.
For those
I
of you
just want
that
my
don't
network
know,
to meet people, you know.
TwitchCon was announced to be Amsterdam June 2022 and San Diego October 2022. Which is, yeah. I've never been to any convention in my life. Not one.
Me neither.
TwitchCon.
Nope,
Never
same.
been to a
Yeah.
like
Me
anime
neither.
con or whatever. So I'm super
Yeah.
excited
The
because
only
I'm
thing-
definitely
Yeah, I
gonna go
think
to
it'd be
TwitchCon.
fun.
The only con I ever went to was I went to the Comic-Con in Phoenix one time,
Okay.
and
How was that?
that was basically it. It was, I mean, it was fine. It was just obviously it wasn't as cool as like the like regular Comic-Cons in like New York or San Diego or whatever.
Mhm.
But it was pretty cool. There was like a bunch of random shit and like shops to buy random crap. But also besides that, I've also been to like fishing cons with my dad where they just show off.
Oh
Fishing?
yeah,
Oh,
Hell
hook, line,
that's
and
sick.
sinker,
They had
baby.
the
This is
huge
up.
boats and they had like trucks and
They
ATVs and
count
shit.
it.
Yo, thanks
Yeah,
for the
bro.
raid, Hidden Weed.
Sick. Evan,
Yes.
could you do an ad break real quick?
An ad break? I mean, we can just continue talking.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
that's
can-
fair. One
You can
sec.
go to your.
Bye,
thing.
Psychic. Hey,
Wait,
Psychic,
Psychic.
where do you live again, though?
Yeah, where does
Yeah.
does anyone know
I-
where Psychic lives?
I forgot where Psychic lived.
Yeah.
Colorado, baby.
Oh, that's the one.
But speaking
Yo.
of streaming, actually, and like content creation in general, Seth, how did you start getting into that? Like, what's your whole story with content creation?
Yeah, this was actually something I wanted to ask you guys too, because I think it's funny to me that you guys are doing it because I started in high school and then stopped. So like I have Call of Duty commentaries that you can find of me playing Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, I gotta
I-
start looking up.
It's I so my channel, my old channel I think is just called like Seth K. It was called I Disasteroid or Mr. Disasteroid. But I don't
That's
think
a
it's
good
named
name.
that anymore. But so I was watching a ton of like Call of Duty commentaries and things like that. Bought a Hauppauge HD PVR, which is a real ones know, capture card. That's like you had the Dazzles and then you had Haupauges, which were like the HD ones. But so what up, Hidden Weed? So I bought my HD PVR and learned how to use it and just filmed Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 commentaries and made some Halo montages because I really liked Halo. And that was also one of the only games that you could get montages made where you didn't need a capture card because you could upload clips to your file share and then have like your editor with a capture card download it and do it. So like I had some random guy from near where I lived that's like 10 years older than I am and just was like editing for montages. Like I randomly talked to him and he was like, yeah, I'll edit a montage for you. So there's just like a random montage on YouTube of my Halo gameplay that
Nice.
someone made for me. Never paid him. I was just a
Dude.
kid. Like
Free unpaid
Yeah.
labor. Let's go.
for sure. But yeah,
I was
so
there.
I like did the commentary stuff and then got made fun of for it at school because you're a squeaker making Call of Duty commentaries. Of
Yeah.
course you are.
Yeah.
And then went to college and like was just very active in like my college's like social scene, my fraternity, whatever. Got out of college and was like I miss like gaming. I was really big into Melee and like would comment for Melee tournaments, but like I had no desire to like make content of my own. And so at some point like a year and a half ago now, I was just like, fuck, I'm real tired of telling the same stories to like my friends and they're tired of hearing it because I want to tell the story to like, a new person that asks or whatever. And I was like, I should just have videos of the stories that I like to tell and then I can show them to a person and I don't have to like bore my girlfriend or my friends. And so that was kind of what like started the idea for Seth Loves to Talk. And it was just like, oh, I can actually make it so that I can talk about whatever. So that was my origin story of Seth Loves to Talk. It was just like, yeah, I want to be able to easily share stuff that I like with people and not just need to tell them the same shit that I tell everyone else.
Nice. And that
Yeah.
guy that made your montage, he edits for me now. So
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Probably.
Just
Free
works out.
labor.
That guy who edited
Yeah.
your podcast, that guy who edited that, quack.
that
All day.
his name
Whoa.
quack_001.
Yeah, that's why Quack can't stand my voice.
Yeah, Quack
He heard
lied.
it when I was just a squeaker.
Yeah, he lied to you. He was actually 3 when he edited your podcast. Man. He's like a child.
What did you study in college? You mentioned
I
you were
was
in
a
the
physics
fraternity.
major,
Physics,
but
yeah.
I did computer science as a minor. I didn't want to do physics as a career. Honestly, it was that class with the high school junior in it where I was just like, I don't
You
get
did
it.
quantum?
I don't. Yeah, I was like, I
Yeah.
literally just don't understand quantum mechanics. Like, I loved the idea of like, you throw a ball at 30 miles per hour at a 30-degree angle. How far does it go? And I was like, that's sick. Love it.
Yes,
And then you get into
yes.
like E&M, and it's like,
No,
Okay.
I had the same revelation. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, motion, that's cool. And then I tried college physics. I was like, oh,
no,
that's just math. All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I was just like, okay, like I like learning how to program for my physics, like, research things. And so I was like, okay, I should take this more seriously. And I really like just creating things. I think that that's cool.
Yeah.
And that was really just kind of like how I got into computer science more. I was like, yeah, I can like make an app that does something. Like in college, I started working on a music visualizer that here, I can probably show it while I'm just in the background.
Is it your lights?
No, that would be sick though if I could get it hooked up to my lights. Here, I'll put it on while we're chatting. All
Wait,
that.
Is it on your camera?
Yeah, is it on your camera?
Not right now, but it will in a second.
I
It's
think
gonna
it
look like
is
shit.
your
right
camera
now.
right
It's gonna
now
look
is
like shit for a second. Yeah.
Okay,
You guys
okay,
talk
gotcha.
amongst yourselves,
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Psychic, I noticed you made your bed. That's huge.
Character
I didn't
growth.
make my bed. That's just how it
Holy-
ended up.
What do you mean that's how it
I
ended
woke
up?
up like
Well,
this.
like, no, here's the thing. Like, that people don't realize is it's not real. It's barely even the fact that I'm not making my bed because there's one blanket. Like, it's not like I have a bunch of
would it be
sheets
so
on the
hard
bed
to
and
just
stuff.
move it so it looked nice?
No, but why does it matter?
This
not
is
like-
this is the topic that we're gonna talk about
Like,
every
it's
podcast
literally
episode.
one blanket and a bed, and that's it.
Because it looks nice for stream?
Yo, congratulations on
Fucking
making
care.
your bed.
I don't care what my bed looks like for
Good shit.
stream.
Good shit.
Shit, my cat is in my lap.
Made
and
poggies.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Cat.
Yeah, look at
Where's
him.
my
he's so
cat? I
cute.
don't know where my cat
Audio
is.
listeners are getting fucked right now, but Hudat has the most adorable cat, like of all time. It's so cute.
His cat is very cute.
Yeah, and
Who dat? What's your cat's name?
His name is Monkey.
monkey.
Monkey, why
Evan, do you have any pets?
Yes, I have one dog, and her name is Skyla. She's a husky.
Neck, do you?
I got a hermit crab.
That's
A
sick.
hermit crab. Oh, whoa!
What the-
Your
What the
screen is.
What is
I don't know why
happening?
my
Yo!
actual camera's fucking crazy. The visualizer's just the thing in the middle. Hold on, I
Yeah.
probably just need to deactivate
The
and reactivate.
one making like the infinity sign.
I like the one
Yeah.
that it looks like Atriox like border.
Okay, there we go.
Whoa.
Yeah, it did look like Atriox multiple big A's yesterday. But yeah, like I don't know. This is just like it basically just responds to audio. So like if you guys talk, you'll see it move faster, right?
Wait,
Ah! Oh my god, I'm going crazy! Yo!
Holy shit.
And yeah, there's tons of different presets.
Holy.
I've got like a bunch of different customization stuff. If anyone wants to play with it, I'll drop it in the Twitch chat.
Hell yeah.
Huge. Check
That's
it
cool.
out, chat. It's only
Yeah.
a crypto. It's only
Hello?
a crypto miner.
We'll link it in the description of this
Yeah.
the YouTube video as well.
Please use it in streams. I use it as like a background for things. I also just keep it on my second monitor at like all times.
Nice.
When I'm working, listening to music, doing stuff like that.
Sick.
It'll also mine cryptocurrency for Seth, so please.
Yeah,
download
big time.
Everyone does.
In reality, it is not for those with a poor computer. It is not good optimized code.
At least the 3090.
By right, can't get it.
Yeah,
so.
you need a 3090 for it.
Neg, have fun.
I will copy paste it
Oh,
right now.
sorry. Sorry,
Seth,
I got the-
Seth, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Do you have?
Cool.
I was told you have some fun little stories you might want to share.
Fun little stories.
Yes. Just anything you
Fun
want to
little
talk
stories.
about.
Anything
you
I
came
wanna
with
talk about.
Topics, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys a story about the weirdest college class I took. How about that?
Perfect.
Sure.
So you guys were, we were talking about like content creation and stuff like that. And one of the things that, I've been, oh my God, Hudat, your cat's so cute. I'll see if I can grab my cat after.
Same.
My introduction into like doing content, was basically like, oh, like I want to make videos. And I was starting off with like, kind of like video breakdowns. But at some point I was like, oh, I should get back into making like After Effects animations. Because in college, I had a class that was Introduction to Animation and After Effects. And I was a physics major. It was my junior year. And I was like, I need to take an elective. And I saw this poster on the ground that was Introduction to Animation and After Effects. And it said anyone could apply. And I was like, cool, this sounds interesting. Like, it's very different than most of the other electives I could take. Sounds like, I could learn how to make shit in something that I'm interested in doing. Why not? So I called the professor up and I'm like, hey, can I take this class? And he's like, you're a physics major? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you might not be a lot like some of the other people in the class. And I was like, oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm an outgoing guy. Like, I'll get along with people. Sure. So, like, the first day of class comes, and it's in this, like, weird, like, building at the north of Northwestern's campus. And I, like, walk in, and I'm like, okay. He wasn't wrong. Like, it's a bunch of, like, art students. Like, really arty art students. And, like, all of my classes, my other classes are, like, hardcore physics classes or, like, math classes, whatever. Like, I haven't seen any of these people, literally. And Northwestern's not that big of a school. They got, like, 2,000 people in the grade. Yeah, so, like, I hadn't seen any of these kids. And I'm like, this is strange. Like, okay, let's see what it's like, though. And, like, my professor walks in, like, handlebar mustache, bald, glasses, flannel, and looks like tatted up, like, super tatted on his arms. And I'm like, this is unlike any professor I've seen at all. Walks in, and he's this very soft-spoken Canadian guy. Hi, class. My name's Professor Ranky. I'm going to be your animation professor. And the entire first class is basically just, like, introductions. He's like, I'm going to show you guys what is, like, the current standard for animation. And he basically just plays, the video is called Reifying Desire 3, The Immaculate Conception of Doubting Thomas, which is somehow, I'm Jewish, it's some Christian anecdote. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but, like, that's some Christian thing. I don't know.
Okay.
And it's by this guy named Jacoby Sattler-White, who is apparently at the forefront of animation in terms of, like, art gallery displays. And funny enough, I saw this exact piece when I went to the Whitney Museum in New York with my family, and I, like, freaked the fuck out because it reminded me of this story in this class. And the video that he shows is basically, like, a bunch of really crudely animated figures in Maya, where, like, one of them is supposed to be Jesus, they've got, like, a wound on them, and, like, another person pokes the wound, and then you're cutting from, like, that scene into, like, effectively, like, just a mirror. Oh, big raid, 20 people.
Afghans. Thank you for the raid. Welcome to the S3K podcast. We're here with Seth Loves to Talk.
I'm just telling a story about the weirdest college class I took, where this super strange professor showed us some really strange animations and then basically said, okay, that's where animation's at. At one point in the video, there was a cock on wheels, and if you pause it, there's a description next to it that literally says, and then the cock on wheels moves through the, like, on a roller coaster track while sparks shoot out of it. And that's exactly what it was. It was super fucking weird. And I'm like, okay, this is strange, but, like, whatever. Like, it's art, right? Like, fair enough. And so it was a non-traditional class. We didn't really have homework. We had 3 assignments, but you basically just had to do what the assignment said. It was like, make 4 movement transformations to a piece of media. Like, that's literally all you needed to do. It wasn't graded off how good it was. It was literally just, did you use 10 effects or whatever it was? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, he's not really teaching us a ton. It's more like a lab where you go in and sit for 3 hours once a week, and you just work on your projects, your homework, whatever. And he tells us, though, he's like, you're going to have a final project at the end of the semester where it's just going to be using all the knowledge that you've learned. You're going to make a video. So you can think about your final project whenever. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. We have a midterm, though. And the midterm was a little bit different. It was more structured. Cool idea, though. Everyone got an audio track. He'd send us an MP3. You'd listen to it, and you'd have to map it out so that someone else could read your map and animate to the map. So they never would listen to the audio. They would just animate to your map. Okay. And so, I get my map from someone, I make my animation, and we basically would stitch this entire, like 18-minute audio track together, and everyone's animations would flow into each other, and the audio would be consistent. Cool idea. We're going through it, and he's like, okay, at the end of this, we're going to do peer review. Sure, makes sense, right? We go through it, and there is one section that particularly stands out, which is, remember, you don't know the audio that you're animating to, so you're animating things to audio cues that someone else is telling you about. And it's basically just a white screen, and there are 6 different vignettes, like circles with like a colored outline. And then in the center of the circle is a picture. And they were of what can only be described as assholes. And interesting choice. And so, there's like, and the soundtrack for it was like very industrial. Like you've got like sounds of like metal pipes being hit. You'll hear like a radio come on suddenly and then fade out. Like it's very avant-garde and strange.
Okay.
It's art. Yeah, it's art.
Art, yeah.
And so we get to the end and we talk about my section, okay? And my section was like kind of like what you'd see like on YouTube of just like people throwing together memes and like whatever. Like I had like GIFs and, just like a whole mishmash of like different media, digital media. Whereas other people went for like hand-drawn animations. Some people did like more like frame by frame stuff. Some people did like automatic, like animated things that changed over time, whatever. And so we're talking about mine and no one has any questions. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, great, move on to the next one. And we get to the one that I'm like, I can't wait to see what people have to say about this. Mm-hmm. And we talk about it for like 20 minutes. People are like, I really loved your choice of using, what are they? And this is the teacher talking, going, the animal butts? And the guy corrects him and goes, actually, they're cat assholes. Just kind of went with my gut on that one. And I like lost my mind because I was like, what? This is a class at Northwestern University? I'm paying so much money. My dad's paying so much money for this fucking class to have someone talk about cat assholes? And he like, exactly who you're imagining, like long straight hair, glasses, like would always be in like just the drippy art drip of pastel colored sweaters, rolled boots, and I'm just like, oh my god, this
Coffee
dude's the
mug in the
fucking
morning.
worst.
Yeah.
Master of Fine Arts student. He was one of the master's students that was in the class. There was 3 of them.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is insane. I need to show this to my friends. And I know what you're thinking. That's the most incredible part of the story. It's not at all.
It gets
I
worse.
go and I look up my professor's name to find his Vimeo profile because we used Vimeo for hosting things.
Okay.
And I think it's still up. I look up Steve Ranke Vimeo, Steven Ranke. The Vimeo profile picture is of what I can only describe of a man on all fours with a old, those like old school telephones where like they've got like the bells almost on like the top and the bottom.
Okay.
One of those shoved up his asshole.
The
That's
professor.
the profile picture. And I'm like, this can't be the professor, right? Like there's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
He's an arts professor.
It is. He's a tenured professor at Northwestern University.
Tenured professors, man, they're wild.
His Vimeo profile, his bio is myrectumisnotagraveyard.com. And I went to his site and all of his videos and things like that are like very sexual. Like they're all surrounding like basically like fellatio and like anal sex, and I'm just like, what is this? Like why is this guy like my professor? Like it's fine if you want to do that, but like it just didn't seem congruent with like this is a tenured professor at like a university. Mm-hmm. And so at some point after this, I've never been able to find the midterm project, which is one of the saddest things of my life.
But you found art instead.
I found art instead. But so I find the profile. I'm like, this is insane. I send it to my friends. I'm like, this is batshit insane. Eventually, we after the midterm, there's no more homework. It's literally just prep for the midterm or the final. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make my final, whatever, who cares? At one point, we're like working in class, and one of the kids is like, Professor Ranke, can you show us some of your work? And he like literally does the like, I don't think so. And I was like, I know why. Mr. My Rectum's Not a Graveyard.com. So,
Oh my God.
one of the videos, by the way, I watched had one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in a video, which was like, it was like a collaboration with some U Chicago art student where it was her and her partner going topless down a river. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like, seems like this was like a school project thing. Kind of strange, but whatever. And then the next shot is of them pointing out a dock. And then the next shot is of them saying, like, see, I told you it was alive. And what you're looking at is them dissecting a deer that was pregnant. And they are literally poking at the deer fetus. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I've tried finding it and going back. I can't find that specific video. And I'm like, I swear to God, it's like I was having a fucking fever dream. It's too unreal. Yeah, people in chat saying I found it. People in chat saying I found it. Yep, it's real. I'm not lying.
Oh no.
Linkers?
So I'm like, okay.
Flashbacks to episode 1.
I just want to get through this whole experience, right?
This is
like,
not
and
as
in
bad
my
as
head-
episode, or this is
in
way
my
worse
head,
than
I'm
episode
like,
1.
I need to be doing
Incognito
like
mode?
well in this class. Like other people are doing, other people are
Rectum is not
doing
a
like
grave.com.
shitty things, and like I'm like at least like putting in the effort. I'm doing like all the homework assignments, whatever, and I'm like, if I don't get a good grade in this class, like I'm gonna be so fucking pissed. I'm gonna be so pissed. And so the final comes, and I went first because I was happy with what I'd done. I'd spent like 15 to 20 hours on it. It was a project where I interviewed some of my friends, and then I took their stories and I basically just animated in the behind it. And really happy with it. You know, some of them were better than others. I had like 5 different little sections, and some of them were more like animations, other were more just like editing things.
What the?
I love that people are having their minds blown.
What am I
because
looking
It
at?
blew my mind.
Dude,
It
I'm
blew
looking
my
at it,
mind.
dude. Can I tell you what I just saw?
Yeah, go
there's
for
this,
it.
There's this guy. It's in one of his posts. This guy. He's getting a tattoo around his asshole, dude. What the fuck is happening? What the fuck
They
is
are
happening?
it's my understanding of it is that a lot of his work, and he is like supposed to be very respected, classic Canadian, by the way. He is very respected for like explorations of sexuality in animation and editing. And so like he has done a few different projects that have like gotten very like strong attention for bringing like a spotlight on basically like gender studies, queer studies, things like that. So it serves a purpose for why it's interesting. However, it is very graphic and probably it's just strange that he's a Northwestern art professor.
What the?
To be honest,
fuck am
I've
I
never
looking at?
seen I've never seen anything that he did in his work that was like amazing editing. It's just more that it's like very avant-garde. He mostly just uses cross dissolves to put clips together. There's not a lot of like animation shit. It's not like he's a motion designer. But anyway, so we get to the final. I go first, and I'm like really, happy with it. My video gets literally no feedback. Like we end and it's like time to do peer review feedback, and it's literally like one person goes, I liked that one text effect that you did towards the end. I'm like, cool, thanks. My professor's like, yeah, you've really got an eye for typography, good job. Next person goes, it's cat asshole guy. Immediately up right after me. And I'm like, okay, this will be interesting, let's see what this guy does. The video, and I have been able to find this, starts off black screen. All of a sudden, you begin to see out of a vignette. So it's like kind of like this, okay?
And it's another cat asshole.
It's
It
a
is
dog asshole this time.
from the perspective of a dick.
Okay.
You are looking at a man's legs, and he proceeds to go about his day. He walks over to the toilet, takes a piss. The little slit in the center turns yellow, okay?
Okay.
The rest of the video is just, and by the way, in the background, all you're hearing is this. Like there's no, it's nonsensical babbling.
Okay.
And
Like the teacher
rest
from
of the video,
like the adults from Charlie Brown, just like
exactly.
Okay.
Like
okay.
occasionally you see actual words, there you can hear actual words, but for the most part, it's just absolute babble. And so the rest of the video goes by, and at one point he plays with a cat. I love people reading the website and being like, dude, your professor's a psycho. Yeah, I know. So
He's written
eventually he
7
starts
books.
playing. Yeah, like this is like a very well-respected like person, and at the same time, it's like all of his projects are like kind of batshit insane.
Yeah.
But so the rest of the video is like he like plays with his cat, whatever, but there's no animation. I spent 15 to 20 hours in After Effects, like working with like different effects, doing typography stuff, like really busting my fucking ass while having other classes to study for and write. Like, and this Masters of Fine Arts major comes in and does a point of view from a dick and then babbles
there's
over
no
the
cuts?
background.
It's just
there's
like-
no. It is literally just raw footage with the only thing is the vignette that makes it look like a dick slit, and then it turned yellow. Like, honestly, it's not even animation. It's just editing.
Yeah.
And so we get to the end of it.
He drew the vignette on frame by frame.
Exactly. So we get to the end of it, and we talked about it for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, the entire time, I'm fuming. I'm like furiously texting my friends, being like, you're not gonna fucking believe what I'm going through right now. I'm going through a literal fever dream. It's total bullshit. And so we talk about it, and people are like, I loved that the slit was ambiguous. Like, I couldn't tell if it was a dick or a vagina. And I'm like, what is this? Why is this the discussion that we were having? Why? There's no animation. Can we talk about that? Like, can we talk about the fact that this person spent an entire quarter working on this project and there's literally no animation? And the entire time, exactly what Kreleb's saying in chat, I'm like, if I don't get an A, I'm literally going to report everyone in this class. I'm gonna go full Karen. Just like, what the fuck is this? This is bullshit. And so we talk about this guy's thing for so long, and we get to the point, someone asks, they go, what's the audio? And he goes, oh, the audio was actually from a year and a half ago. I found it 2 weeks ago, and I just was really mad one night, and so I put the blankets over my head, put on my headphones, and then talked into a microphone for an hour. Stream of consciousness. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? You're telling me you did no
This
work
guy's
for this
insane.
project. You are literally just telling on yourself that you did no work for this project. Literally none of this. And so I'm just like, okay, at least I've got to get an A. I have to. There's no way. And we had one other notable final project. It was by a guy named Max Guy. Max Guy sounds like a fake name, I know. Max Guy came into the class late. And so he had to catch up on all the homeworks. And we watched all the homeworks together for the assignments, like when everyone had submitted them, basically. And we watched Max's homeworks. And again, they were just like really basic, like put 4 effects on, do 5 movements, whatever. Max's projects, his homeworks, didn't do this. They were always, each one did not have enough. And the medium that you could use any medium, it didn't have to be something that you animated, you can use a clip, whatever. The medium that he chose to do his homeworks in was Frasier, which is a show about a psychologist in Seattle. Mm-hmm. It's just a sitcom. And I didn't really get it. I didn't get why he chose Frasier, but they were just homework assignments. It was no big deal. And I thought, oh, it's okay. When he does his final project, it'll be about something else. So we get to the final project, and we get to Max's turn. A clip from Frasier begins to play. And we get to about 30 seconds into the clip from Frasier. And for Elkman Pop in chat who knows Frasier, it's the scene where they are at a dinner, and Frasier is about to go on stage to tell a joke, but the priest who goes on before Frasier steals his joke, apparently. And to this point, 30 seconds into the Frasier clip, nothing has happened. It's just a Frasier clip. There's no animation. There's no anything. And I'm like, it's bubbling up again. All the rage I felt from David Sprecher's shitty dick slit thing, it's bubbling up inside me again. And I'm like, if this another master's student gets an A, and I don't, I'm burning this place to the ground. And so we get to the point where the person introduces Frasier and says, and our special guest, Dr. Frasier. Frasier walks onto the screen, enter stage left. His face is censored. Okay? Hey, some animation. That's interesting. Frasier then reaches the microphone.
Oh.
No.
They got him.
Like looks
He's back,
around
he's
for
back.
a second.
Wait, you froze.
Am I back? Am I back?
You're back.
You're back.
You're
You're
Am I
back.
back?
Go back like 10
Okay.
seconds.
Okay. Frasier gets to the podium.
Yeah.
Looks around for a second. Opens his mouth and then all you hear is, and then it cuts to the audience in the clip of Frasier, and it's just them going, and then it cuts back to Frasier, and he goes, and then it cuts, abruptly cuts,
That's it.
and that's the project.
What?
That's it. That entire thing was 10 weeks plus of work in an animation class where the only thing was censoring Frasier's face so that it was blurred. And then, and by the way, it's not even like it was like a difficult censor. It was literally an oval. It was just an oval. For all I know, it could have been the fucking dick slit from David Sprecher's project, just inverted and put over Frasier's face. And I'm like, what is going on? There's no way that anyone else is gonna talk about this seriously, right? Like, there's no way. And of course, we spend like 30 minutes talking about it. And I'm just like, what is going on? And they're like, oh my God, that's so funny. I loved the audio when Frasier made, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, literally no one said anything about mine. And I'm like, I'm bubbling. I'm just raging. And I literally said to one of my friends, if I don't get an A, I'm reporting everyone. I am. I get the email after the class ends. You should have found better audio. I didn't like that it was just with an iPhone. You should have been using higher quality gear for that. But for the body of work and your typography, you get an A. And I was like, wow. 1, fuck you. 2, thank you. 3, holy shit, what was this experience? It blew my mind. And the funny part is I found the final projects. So I can link the fucking dick slit thing.
Oh, this is big.
I found not only the
Nathan,
dick
link
slit
this
thing,
in
I
the-
found
This
the
is
Frasier.
Patreon. No, don't link it in chat. Link it in what's this
Patreon.
Discord. This is
This
Patreon.
Patreon
This
content.
is Patreon exclusive. Put it in the S3K chat.
This is insane.
Wait, what's with fine art students and like doing voiceovers where they're saying nothing? Is that just a theme?
Don't
Bro, I don't know.
chat. Don't talk to art students. That's what we're learning today. They're insane.
Or take the advice of art teachers. If one of them says you can take this class, sure. Yeah.
don't.
Don't.
The people are a little different than you.
I want to find an art lady friend. Well,
They seem
They seem-
freaky.
well, if
Wow.
we're basing it off of dick slit guy and cat asshole dick slit guy, I mean,
So
maybe.
the guy, your professor's currently working on a project with this other
Yeah.
guy. It hasn't been released yet, but it's called Anal Swastika and versus Genital
Yes.
Holocaust.
Yes,
What?
that's he's like that's like one of his like biggest things.
Wait, play that one back again. What was it?
Anal Swastika versus Genital Holocaust. What the fuck?
I don't think
Okay,
I wanted to finish that project.
I found it. I'll put it in the chat. We got the dick slit video on lock.
Oh man.
I'll just directly message it to Evan.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's send it to the group chat.
Message it in the S3K. There's an S3K
Oh yeah.
Is there
in
also,
Evan's
like, a
Discord.
voice thing?
in my Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is honestly some
yeah.
of the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That
no,
was the
that's-
craziest class I took in college. So I know it's a long story, but it's insane.
But hey, you got an
It's
A.
insane.
So that's
I
all that
did get an A.
matters.
I
do you,
did get
do you
an
know
A.
what the
One
other
you
students
get.
get? Do you know what grades? the
No,
others-
I wish I knew. So I did, I made a few friends in the class, like 2 or 3 people that were like sort of normal. There was, I think, one other person that was like in Greek life. So like I was able to talk with them and be like, hey, these art students are fucking insane, right? And they were like, yeah, this is crazy. I don't know what's going on. But so I spoke with them after and I was like, how did you guys do? And like they did pretty well. So my guess is it wasn't graded super harshly, but I have literally no idea how the master's students did. And like, I looked into David Sprecher a bit more. He works, I think, like at Northwestern now, like as like a grad student, like assistant
and
teacher.
the cycle
basically.
continues.
So the cycle just
no.
continues.
Wow.
Most scuffed part about the whole thing is that it's on Vimeo.
Yeah.
True. Also, crazy for the audacity of him to say get some better audio when it's just people like talking in
Literally,
a muffled mic.
yeah, muffling
Yeah.
in a blanket. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Wait,
Thank
does
you
he
for
have?
sharing.
Wait, is he on Rate My Professor?
That's a good question. I
Wait.
don't know.
Let's check it out.
Here, the video is called Frasier's Joke. That's the other one. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, I actually am slightly selling Frasier's Joke short. It starts on a black screen, and then the text Frasier's Joke spins linearly onto the screen while it fades
Yo, that's a
in.
sick
There
edit,
was
though.
slightly more animation.
That's pretty sick.
Frasier's
We're
Joke.
all pulling up Rate My Professor right
This-
now.
Yeah.
What school? It's Northwestern.
I'll find my project as well.
Wait, why are there so many Northwesterns? What the?
Just saying, I think I could
It's
do
the
all
one-
that in a week of learning. I think I could
You
make...
could do it literally. I think that I could recreate both of these videos in literally 15 minutes.
I could make my own dick slit video. I could earn an A in that class.
It
Oh
wouldn't
wait, did
surprise
Tomo
me.
JPEG find it? Oh jeez. I'm
Hey,
scared.
you know, if you go through the effort to find it,
Oh, Fraser's joke. Yeah,
You
this is
deserve
Fraser's
it.
joke.
Frasier's Joke
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
crazy. This is insane. This is.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, it's real.
I think
you know,
for the editing for this podcast, we just end it with that as the ending. Fraser's joke.
Frasier. Yeah, either end it or start it. You know what I mean? Just the bumper is just Frasier's joke raw.
Yeah. That would be a hook.
I think I could have made that like in Windows Movie Maker in like two minutes. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. You're telling me.
But did you at least learn stuff from that class? Like, do you think that helped with your career?
He literally just sat and then you would ask him questions about shit. I dropped my video in the S3K thing, but my video, like, I basically just reused like 2 or 3 effects that I learned that, like, to be fair, I don't know how to do now in After Effects, but like, you know, they were like interesting. Parts of it looked good, but like the start of it's shitty, but I had like one chalkboard style animation that like I was pretty happy with. Like, you know, it was clear and, you know, interesting to watch. But like for the most part, it's like you can tell each one is like better and better. Like the last ones are a lot better than the start. So I learned, but like not because of my professor at all.
Everyone's saying, "Wow, this is genuinely a shitpost."
Yeah, I think everyone is thinks that I'm exaggerating, and like I genuinely am not exaggerating. Like I'll put mine in the chat too, so that people can see at least mine. Like mine's 5 minutes, five and a half minutes, and like there's a lot of like different editing and shit that I did. Like it's 5 minutes of like none of it is just footage. Like it's cuts of found footage.
Oh,
and, like,
whoa,
different
your
clips.
start's pretty interesting.
Like,
I like that.
Yeah, like I put in a lot of effort into it, and so it was really disheartening to see like a Masters of Fine Arts student come in and literally make a shit post. The dick point of view one is called I think it's called Snake Eyes 2.
The titles too.
Snake Eye Final 2.
Is it worse?
Snake Eye Final 2.
I'll watch the Snake Eyes one, dude. Actually, I don't even have words.
This is the cringiest thing I've ever seen.
Someone said that Max Guy invented TikTok, and that is what it felt like. Like it felt like I was watching a TikTok.
Bro, why is he fucking like fully pantsless in the whole thing?
Because it's point of view from his dick.
Yeah, but like,
There's also, like,
does he not wear
the
pants?
best part of talking about it, by the way, was that someone goes, like, how did you, like, what was, like, the point of, like, the point of view? And he's like, well, like, I wanted to be, like, from the perspective, like, of, like, these, like, very, fuck you, Bay Area. The audio could have been better. So he's like, yeah, like, I really just wanted to, like, capture the perspective of, like, this, like, very like masculine like male perspective. And then someone was like, how did you film it? And he goes, I put my phone in my underwear and then just stuck the camera out of the slit of my underwear. And it was like, what the fuck? Like I almost wonder.
Yeah, Seth, I wish
thinking
that
back-
you had done it not all with your iPhone, like the camera quality wasn't that good.
I almost wonder if the slit was just his underwear, and that if it was just his
Now that's
underwear, or if it
creative,
actually
though.
was just like an overlay that he put.
That'd be better if it wasn't
Yeah.
an overlay. It was just the video.
I wish I could find the cat asshole thing, because the cat asshole thing was like my favorite thing, because it was objectively funny as well. Like at least it wasn't batshit insane. It was funny. But like, yeah, I just couldn't believe that in a real Northwestern class, I paid money so that someone could say, actually, they're cat assholes to the professor.
What a line.
I just don't know what to say anymore. Like I've been looking into your professor, and it's just like, what is we live in a world with these people. This is real.
We live in a
Like-
society, man.
Yeah.
That's the quality
It's
education
honestly-
you get
it's-
at Northwestern University.
That's what you get if you go to college. You guys have the right mindset. Fuck college. Learn things on your own.
just
You don't have to deal with
withdraw.
crazy professors. Yeah.
I don't even know.
Why
what to
does he
say.
water the plants when pointing his dick at them? There's so many good questions here about this video that are like really. There's just a lot of questions. I've got so many questions
Audio
about it.
listeners are just like, what is happening?
You need to find it. I promise.
We'll
It's
link
worth your
we'll
time.
link these videos in the description for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's
But yeah.
something.
I think that's a good end to the podcast. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about, Seth.
No, honestly, I've got to go back and work. This
Back
was
to
a
the
great
grind.
little break. I appreciated being able to chat with y'all. Thank you
Yeah,
for
it was
giving
fun.
me a floor to talk. I hope, I know I talk a lot, but I hope it was entertaining.
Definitely
It was.
was. If there's anything
It
you want to
was.
shout out, feel free to do it.
Shout out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/SethLovesToTalk. I've got my next video will come out probably within the next like 3 weeks, depending. I've got a surgery coming up in October, so I'm not sure how long it'll take for me to recover from that. But I'm gonna be doing it on land mines, or actually naval mines, like sea mines.
Ooh.
I went down a
I
rabbit
love me
hole.
some
There's a lot of
mines.
interesting stuff. I wanted to talk about it. So that's the next thing. But yeah, I got plenty of good content over there. Lots of different stuff, video game stuff, breakdowns of music videos and bands I like, whatever you want. I got something that's different. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Yep.
You're
Was
Goodbye.
one of the batshit craziest episodes we've had.
Holy
Sure was.
shit.
That's what I want to hear, All right, bye
Yeah.
everyone. Bye chat.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.